Christmas in Washington. A holiday celebration from our nation's capital starring Debbie, Diane Carroll, Roger Mudd, the United States Naval Academy Glee Club, John Schneider, Eric Severide, the Shiloh Gospel Choir, Dinah Shore, and Ben Vereen.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
I come to Washington, I am stirred with our sense of history. I am filled with the feeling of the continuity of our country. And that is never more outstanding in our lives than when we are privileged to visit the White House. We had just such an opportunity, just as Christmas celebration was getting underway at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Welcome to the White House. More than anything else, Christmas at the White House has always been a children's holiday. American presidents, whether they were widowers like Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson, or beaming grandfathers like the Roosevelts and Dwight Eisenhower, have always made Christmas a celebration for young people. And that's true of another president who's used to having children around at Christmas.
The story of the birth of Jesus. But since that time, down through the years, there have been many legends and stories and poems, and there was a great writer, Dickens, who wrote a story that lives today and has lived for many years called Christmas Carol. When Franklin D. Roosevelt was president of this country, every year he used to read that story to his family. Now, I have another piece that's about Christmas that I'd like to read to you because I think it tells a great deal about this day. It's called One Solitary Life. You know what that means, just one single life, and I think it describes the meaning of Christmas. There was a man born of Jewish parents in an obscure village, the child of a peasant woman. He grew up in another obscure village. He worked in a carpenter shop until he was 30 years old. And then for 3 years, he was what's called an itinerant preacher. He traveled around just preaching on street corners and wherever people would gather and listen. He never wrote a book. He never held an office of any kind. He never owned a home. He never had a family. He never went to college. He never put his foot inside a big city, and never traveled more than 200 miles from the place where he was born. He never did any of the things that usually accompany greatness. And while still a young man, preaching as he was doing, the tide of popular opinion turned against him. His friends ran away from him. He was turned over to his enemies. They went through the mockery of a trial. His executioners gambled for the only piece of property he had, his coat. When he was dead, he was taken down and laid in a borrowed grave. 19 wide centuries, 1900 years or more, almost 2,000 have come and gone. And today, he is the centerpiece of much of the human race. All the armies that have ever marched, all the navies that ever were built, all the parliaments that ever sat, all of the kings that ever reigned, have not affected the life of man upon this earth, all put together as powerfully as this one solitary life. I've always believed that the story of that young man, of Jesus, is a story of hope. If we live our lives for truth and for love, because that's what he told us to do, and for God, we never have to be afraid. God will be with us. He'll be a part of something much larger, much stronger, and much more enduring than any force that has ever existed on this earth. God bless you. Merry Christmas.
The sounds of joy to the world echoing through this beautiful hall, we welcome you to help us share the beauty of Christmas in our nation's capital with some outstanding artists and some outstanding local residents and their families here. We hope to share the beauty of the season and the spirit of Christmas here in Washington.
Christmas in Washington is presented by E.F. Hutton. When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Bye.